everyone, welcome back to Black Cats TV, and we're here with some news. I'm joined by Conrad. How you doing, Conrad?
I'm all right. Well, I say I'm all right. I wasn't until about 2 hours ago.
Tell us why. Please tell us why.
Well, we did speak about it in our previous... Just before we start, though, if you haven't already, like and subscribe right now. Just get it out of the way right now, and then we can move on with the rest of our lives. Cheers.
All of us.
Right, so about 2 hours ago, Sky, Fabrizio Romano, and pretty much every media outlet on there had said the Bellingham deal to Dortmund is done or is all finalised, with Sunderland and Dortmund agreeing a £38 million deal, but that's sort of broken down into 33 million fixed fee, 5 million in add-ons for Sunderland. I'm assuming that's for games and Champions League appearances, potential trophies and what have you, including a 15% add-on clause. For if they sell on. I said add-on, sell on clause. I can't read, and I've got my glasses on and everything. Record sale for Sunderland after huge fee. After the initial 20 million bid was rejected earlier on in the week, and then they've managed to jump up for an extra 13 million. So a second Bellingham at Dortmund. What are your thoughts on that one?
Well, my thoughts is the same as what yours were when we ended the season. Let's hope he gives us one season in the Premier League, right? But
absolutely,
I think the club we are and the way we've been financially over the seasons, we can't turn our nose up at an offer like that.
No, definitely
we took 20 million for Jordan Henderson back in the day and stuff like that, and we took 10 million for Watson this season. So 33 million. I mean, that's euros, right? So it's a bit less.
I think it's euros. Yes, euros. So it's about 30 or 31, isn't it, there with prices at the minute?
So, 30 million pounds for him. He's worth every penny as far as I'm concerned. I'd have loved to have kept him. I'd love to have seen him play a season. But, there's some big shoes to fill, is the question.
Yeah, we did touch on that in our previous transfer video again, which once you finish this one, go back and watch it. We'll link it at the end, where I think we spoke about
one or two players in that.
One or two players, maybe about 16, 17, and we'll probably be doing another 16 or 17 this week when the rumours inevitably come round. But we spoke about replacements for him, who we were looking at and things like that. But we both said the same thing, which is we hope that he did give us a season, because at that time it was sort of like we were holding firm on we want this much money for him, and if you don't
and there was rumours it could be off and stuff like that at that time, so we're like ooh.
Yeah, exactly. For me, I said to a friend of mine who messaged me about it, which is fair play to him for wanting to go. I know a lot of people will throw at him that he wanted to be different from his brother, but yet he's joined his brother's former team. But I look at it as, if you were going to pick any team that not relies on youngsters, but really promotes youngsters and lets them play and lets them flourish in bigger environment than we can offer at the minute, i.e. like Champions League and title fighting sides, Dortmund's the first one that springs to my mind anyway, about players like that quality.
I mean, hopefully it's good for him. I have no ill feeling towards him. I have no doubt that it was a club decision at that kind of level. If they turn around and say, no, but you're staying here and we're paying you wages that you want here, I'm sure he would have stayed. I think he likes the club. He likes the dressing room, stuff like that. It's definitely a club level decision. And again, I'm not going to blame the club when it comes in at that kind of price.
I think it was it's a mutual thing. I think Joe probably thought he'd done his sort of deal with us, his time with us, and the club thought if there was ever a time to cash in on an asset at the moment to help us next season, it was probably this is the one, unless you were going to lose Rig at this point. But I don't think you're going to get 33 million for Rig. As much as we think he's worth it, I don't think you were going to get it.
It was worth it coming up to January. He kind of fell off a bit towards the end of the season. I don't want to upset all the Rig fans like I've upset all the Dan Neil fans.
Yeah, the Dan Neil fans hunting me down with
but Rig, I mean, the beautiful back heel he did and stuff like that. Is it against Middlesbrough, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think it was his post-injury is where I think he sort of struggled coming back into it. But they're still a quality player and had absolutely brilliant moments 100%. For us, fantastic. And it's the same with Bellingham. But if we think about Bellingham the first season, there was a lot of us saying, oh, he's burnt out, he's not this, he's not that.
He's tired. Yeah. We kept saying.
Forcing this too much on him, and is he better as a false nine? Is he better as a this? Is he better as that? And this season he just came in and just absolutely blew everyone out the water and just went, this left-sided number 8 of mine is my position, and I will hold on to the ball for you. I will win it back. I will bail out the left back.
By far, whether it's the whole season or the second half of the season, he's the best player we've got in the centre of that park, and that's saying a lot when you've got Lafay who can play there as well, but he's done better on the wing for us when we've seen him, and Regan Neal, they're okay, but they're nowhere near Bellingham standard. Sorry, Neil fans.
Yeah, not. I'll go with not a present at the moment anyway. But I mean, the only other thing was I said to someone, 33 million seems a lot for what he does, but that's because this is money in the current market. If you see what I mean, like if this was 2010, I would have said you'd have got 8 to 12 for the same player. Do you know what I mean?
We're a Premier League club now. We can demand Premier League prices. It's as simple as that. When you've got like fans from Coventry saying, well, if he's worth that, then our player's worth this. No, he's not, because you're a Championship club and we're a Premier League club.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I imagine there is some tax on the surname as well that has been added to that there. But again, it looks like a completely smart move for us. 2 years ago, we bought him for around 3 million. There's probably a little fee in that is going to go to Birmingham City as well for a sell on as well. But if you think, regardless of that, we've times our investment by 10 for 2 years.
And we shouldn't sniff at a 15% sell-on clause either, because that could cash in more than 30 million when it comes to it.
Absolutely. Imagine, let's say he does do as well as what Jude's doing and what have you there, and he does go for around about 100 in a few years' time. We've got another 15 million just walking through the door for absolutely no real effort on our part there. It's really smart business. It's another example of why the model works. It's probably a good thing that we're sort of going, well, if we're looking at getting a lot of quality players in and bulking out the squad, we sell one asset for big money, and then we jump in, on the likes of, as we've mentioned previously, I can't remember all the names, but we listed people like Vinny Souza, we listed Tommy Doyle, we listed Oscar Bob, there's other midfielders in there.
I think we might even have to look higher than that. So
potentially.
Do you think we should be ploughing all that money into somebody for that position? Because we know he's an engine, we know he's a motor, we know he struggled to win games when he wasn't on the pitch. Do we cheap out and get someone for 3-4 million hoping they come good, or do we spend 20 million on a good player in that centre position?
I think they'll probably look down the route like they do with Lafay, if that makes sense, where I think they'll go for not kind of a shock and awe signing, I guess, really, which is like this type of player wouldn't have even thought would look at Sunderland, but they attract him for how he can play, and I'm hoping that's what they go down. I mean, I can see us doing the other where we go 3 or 4 players at around that sort of money you were saying, and sort of bulk us out, because as well as wanting the quality, if you think about our first 11 to our bench, there's a big drop off. Big drop off.
We're swimming in cash now, right? We're swimming in cash. 200 million for going up, 10 million for Watson, 30 million for him. God knows what extras for the sponsors this year.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting to see, but I know they'll all be keeping an eye on PSR and what have you, and making sure they don't just get it all gone in one season and scupper us for the future, won't they? So, but I know you've taken a lot of hate in the comments for your Dan Neil stance. I'd like to see what actually our viewers think of the Bellingham situation. Whether are they happy he's gone for the money that they've got, or do they think we should have held on for more, kept him?
And who would you as a replacement, if anybody? Because we will do another transfer video really soon, and we'll look at your responses from this before we do that video and see who you recommended.
See if we can get him in. So but I know, Mike, do you want to say goodbyes or anything before we go for this one?
Yeah, Dan Neil's still not good enough. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you.
Just doubling down on it. Just doubling down. Right, cheers for watching, everyone. Mike's got the clicky button, so we'll see you in the next one. Take care.
Goodbye.